Hello, everybody, and welcome to Real Talk. This is episode number 19. We're starting a little bit early this evening, and for those of you catching the replay on YouTube, thank you so much, and thank you for those who will be joining this evening. Got a little BBS Live going here. Hey, Razor Company, Raza, good to see you. Kim Gray, BBS Live, howdy. Go Hobbs, how are you this evening? I hope you're doing well. Rambo Kenneth, hello. Justin. Karate Frank. Some of those names are so hard to read, I can't even read them. Joe Kramer, hello, sir. Good to see you here this evening. Really appreciate all of you stopping by. Upfo, hello, Upfo. Good to see you. Let's see here. Let's get in to see if we can get David. Just a moment while I try to locate SoSharpDavid here. There we go. We'll wait for him to go join. Hey, Scott, Michael, Gerald. I really hope you all are having an excellent evening. Have the same issue, Chris. Instagram name. Yeah, some of them are hard. Yeah, some of them are definitely hard to read. Let's see if, hello, Dr. Mike. Good to see you, Brandon. Let's see if David is anywhere to be found yet. He could be running fashionably late. You know how so sharp can be. He might be a little on the tuggy side this evening and perhaps not sharp. Marion, hello. Good to see you, my friend. Aaron Hall, hello. Oh, I started you in the world of wet shaving. Oh, thank you very much. That's an honor, Rambo. Appreciate that. All right. See if we can find David here. He does know this is 8 p.m. Eastern, I hope.
What up? What's up?
Oh, there we go. Finally, at last, you have arrived.
Yeah, my daughter had to call me at the very last minute, telling me how she got her windows tinted. And I'm
Grounded.
like, this is a great story, but I actually got something to do. I gotta let you go.
Grounded.
Yeah.
Let's start off this evening with the health check. How's everybody in the family now? How are we doing? We know everybody's had the Rona and all.
We are officially clear. It took a long time. My mother-in-law, even though she didn't show any symptoms, she kept testing positive for probably near a month. And even though we don't believe she was able to give it to anybody, including myself who hasn't had it, we still acted as such. We still act just to be safe. We did act as if she was contagious. But now we are officially good to go. What up, BBS Live? I don't know who's there. I think it's Mel, but I think it's Nate, but I'm not sure.
LSS?
Yes, sir.
Low sense.
How's everything going over there? Chris?
It's going fine. On the health, my mother has been doing well. My nephew's improving. My mother-in-law has, she's sort of taken a step back, sadly, but still fighting. And my wife's been sick, so it's been, we're just, we always hope for the best for everybody, and hopefully they'll recover well.
Yeah, hopefully, man. That's all we could hope for, and keep people in the best position possible, and then, let God decide, I guess, at that point.
Yeah. What's the drink of the evening, or do you have one?
I actually just got some water, dude. It's been real busy. I've actually had a lot of stuff to do today, which is not normal. Usually I don't do shit all day. But today's been hectic, and I just really need to rehydrate, dude. I even just stuck a salmon on the smoker. I was rushing to do that before the show.
So in the BBS Live mug here, we have some coffee and some bourbon. So I don't even remember what I poured in here, to tell you the truth. But it's good. Okay, so for the first topic, we're going to go very, very controversial. Stone. Okay, next topic. I got a comment this week on a video, and it was where I had the Bomb Bee soap, and on that tub of soap, it had there was a bunch of scratches and scrapes, and it just generally looked bad. And the gentleman on I'm hearing some echo. I hope it's not too echoey. You folks can tell me. But anyway, the gentleman commented that me opining on that, the bad lid said it was an attitude of entitlement and being spoiled, that I would expect a brand new product, which I paid retail money for, to be in good shape when it arrived. Do you think that's an attitude of entitlement and being spoiled to expect your retail product to be looking good when you get it?
When you purchase something, whether it's $1 or whether it's $1,000, you expect it to be new, unused condition. So I don't think it's an outrageous thing to want the product that you purchase to look brand new, not beat up,
Right.
not abused. That's what I would expect.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I always tend to say, if I buy scratch and dent, I want scratch and dent price. You know what I mean? Meaning, if I'm getting something scratch and dent, but otherwise I'm not. And so hopefully the video is still going. I was trying to fix that echo. How are you sounding now? Still echoing.
I never,
Sadly.
I never caught any echo, so I'm not exact. I don't know. If I don't know if the comments below could let us know if they're hearing it when you talk, I talk, because I hear no echo whatsoever.
I'm hearing
So I
a
hope
little bit, but shouldn't be too big a deal, I hope. Anyway, my thoughts on it is if you buy standard price item, you want to arrive in good shape. Even in the supermarket, if I go and I pick something up and I see something all banged up, I reach behind it and get the next one. You don't get a box of cereal even that's all banged up. You reach and get another one. I always say, scratch and dent product at a discount. Don't be selling me no scratch and dent product at retail price. That's the way I always look at that.
absolutely, I agree.
So next, one of the things I wanted to touch on this week, we a lot of times we have content creators that they get bummed out and it's difficult for them. And in 2020, I took up mentioning a lot of new channels. And I was really enjoying doing that, just finding new channels, mention them. And by the end of 2020, it became a real pain in my rear because people started complaining. You're mentioning this guy, not me. Why can't I get a mention? And it became a big ordeal, more problem that was worth. And it really bummed me out because I like to mention people. But I stopped doing it because everybody was complaining. It would get back to me. He mentioned so-and-so, he doesn't mention me. And I'm like, oh. And so now pretty much I mention people once I get to know them a little bit. But the folks that struggle making videos, my heart goes out to them. But honestly, if you're making content, whatever the type of content, podcasting, YouTube, shave of the days, whatever, if you don't enjoy it, don't do it. And it's really that simple. If you're doing it with goals in mind of growth and being popular or achieving fame, you're in the wrong hobby. This is a niche hobby. Your thoughts?
You have to be real comfortable in your own skin. You have to be comfortable with doing something that just makes you happy, just for the satisfaction that you're happy making it. Because if you're going to be looking for other people for approval, for validation, YouTube is going to be a very, very mean mistress because we're in a niche hobby. Even the biggest of us out there are, video gamers have 20 million subscribers. The biggest guys that we have in our industry are at like 40,000, whoever that may be. So
Like
you're looking at a very, yeah, like you have a small percentage of a very small niche hobby. You got to do it because you just enjoy the process of making them, because there's not going to be a lot of people out there watching most of our videos.
And my feeling is that if you're not feeling it and you're not enjoying it, I don't think the viewers, it's going to come through on the video. So if you're always struggling and you're like, I don't know if I want to do this or not. If you're on the fence and you just don't love shaving and sharing your experience or making shave of the days or whatever, just don't do it. Because all you're going to do is consistently be moping and bummed out. And that's not good for anybody. And it's not good for you. It's not good for your esteem. If you're looking to that to sort of build you up and make you feel good, and it's not just for the joy of the shaving and sharing your love of shaving, I would suggest not making content. And I don't take any pleasure in saying that because I welcome everybody. I'm saying right now, if you're somebody new and you're considering doing it, come on in, but do it because you enjoy it and you just want to share your experience and love. Don't do it because you think you're going to achieve some level of fame or notoriety, because this is a niche hobby and it is very difficult to achieve any sort of following because it's just so small. And so my heart goes out to everybody who struggles with that. But in truth, if you don't love it, don't do it because it will come through.
And don't bitch about it, man, because, if you're amongst your friends in a private conversation, good. Vent to them, ask for some advice. Don't publicly fucking cry and want people to come to your rescue and beg you to stay. It's classless. It's sad to see men doing such a thing. Hey, dude, either quit, keep doing it, but don't fucking cry to everybody for sympathy because it's just ugly.
Last year, I made a mistake. Because when people would say, I'm thinking about quitting, I would go, no, don't quit, because I just wanted them to keep going because I thought they were enjoying it. But what I realized was when someone threatens to quit and they get an outpouring of affection, they get that temporary charge and they feel good. And then about a month, once that dies down, they're back to moping again. And it's just like, oh, man. So I realize now the best thing you can say is, hey, do it for the love, do it for enjoyment, and leave it there and just see what happens. Because I think I gave the wrong advice in trying to convince people to stay when they were kind of leaning the other way. And I should have just said, do it for enjoyment. And if you don't enjoy it, don't do it.
I've always took the same route with it. I say, hey, man, do what's best for you. If you don't enjoy it, go ahead and drop off of it. That's been pretty much my universal advice to anybody.
Now, that said, I always encourage everyone to participate. I love to see participation, but honestly, the amount of trouble that it created last year, and it's also crept into this year with people, expecting things. And, I'm pretty busy. I'm always churning and doing stuff, and I'm working, and I have other obligations, but I'm giving all I can give to the hobby. And it bums me out when people are like, oh, you didn't want to support me or do this. And I'm like, oh, can't you see I'm doing the best I can,
And it's not your responsibility to be everybody's savior. You don't have to look out for everybody. You do what you can when you can, and nobody should expect otherwise, man. You shouldn't be burdening yourself with trying to keep smaller channels afloat. That doesn't even make sense to me.
Well, I honestly, I love to see people succeed. I love to see them enjoying themselves, but when they're not, they're not. And I think we probably have to leave it there. Now, last week we saw an argument between vendors sort of spill over multiple platforms. It was on Reddit, it crept into Instagram, and then into Facebook as well. And eventually, some of us had to step in and go, enough. This is enough. And one thing I would say is everyone has the right to express their opinion on everything all the time. But for vendors, when they start slapping each other publicly, it turns people off. So I'm going to be honest. When I saw some of that, I was like, some of the vendors in there, and they were going after each other. And it really turned me off. And I would encourage everyone to, if you have a problem with an individual, even if you're in a business, reach out to them and try to discuss it. Because especially as vendors and artisans, when they're slapping each other publicly, and then their zealots and acolytes come and get into the fray, it's not pleasant. And I just really don't care for that. And I start marking folks off the list, sometimes when I see that. Your thoughts?
So a lot of us have personal relationships with each other in here. It's a very casual feeling for the most part. But if you're a vendor within our community, you should conduct yourself as a professional. I'm not a serious vendor. Once in a while, I'll sell some stuff because I have fun, doing some collaborations with artisans that I enjoy.
Stand by just one moment. I got to mention a comment. It says the razor company loves everyone. That is precisely the right attitude for a vendor, in my opinion. I love to see that. Go ahead.
Absolutely. But if you're a vendor, I want to say this loosely, full time, like you're always having something in the works, even though it's not your 9 to 5 job. But if you always have something in the works, you're an established vendor. This is what you do. That's how you're known to the community. Conduct yourself as is, this is a business. Don't come in here airing your dirty laundry. You don't fucking go break up with your girlfriend at her job because you just look like a fucking idiot. And it kind of looks the same when I see these public back and forth between the vendors. Send a DM, act like a grown up, talk right. Now, if they refuse to kind of hear your side of it, and you really truly feel wrong, then put something out publicly to apply some pressure. But a whole back and forth, like children, it's an ugly look. It's a turn off for me. I personally don't really care to support either company because it looks sloppy. And yeah, that's kind of where I stand on it, man.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things where if you are running a business, I mean that, you have every right to say whatever you want, but boy, when it seems like people are being piled on, it never sets right for me when it seems like people are piling on, especially someone that's new to the community and maybe they don't know all the rules. And I'll say this was with respect to brush style. And I always say anybody who's making brushes today has taken inspiration from Plaisson. Because as far as I know, Plaisson was one of the first brush makers clear back to the 1800s. Every single person that's making brushes has taken inspiration from someone else. There's almost no one that's doing anything 100% original because the first brush was made by Plaisson. So to be jumping on each other, and I completely understand intellectual property and all that kind of stuff. I do, and I sympathize and all the rest, but when it spills over and they're accusing each other of stealing and saying, nasty things and putting their zealots on and they're getting hate mail and it's like, oh goodness, we could do without that. And on the same token, some of us who sometimes get into squabbles would probably be better off to be handling that privately as much as possible also.
You said something right there that actually just reminded me about the whole YouTuber thing, crying for people to support them. When these vendors try to get their zealots involved, they want that public outcry. They want their supporters to be like, oh, you're right. They want that validation. So again, it's just kind of like a bitch move. Like, all right, you want attention. We get it. Shut up. I will say, though, it was a sloppy ass move that Dark Sanctum named that brush the Samurai X when Paladin has the Samurai. That was a stupid move.
Yes.
There's no justification for that, in my opinion. I think it was dumb. It was asking for trouble, and maybe he did it to get attention, and he got it. But I thought that was classless. I did think that was a real just bonehead move on his part.
Right. And I think in retrospect, if he had it to do over, I don't think he would. I talked to him a little bit. He's relatively new. And sometimes you just have to understand that new people are going to make mistakes. And he did change the name of the handle. And I'm betting if someone had reached out to him privately, he probably would have done it based on my conversation with him. And either way, it's just one of those things that, we'd rather not see spill out all over the various platforms, just, personally. But that said, you can only do so much, and human beings are human beings, and passions sometimes, get a rise, and you never know what you're going to get. But hope to see less of that. I wanted to tell you something interesting that I was talking to the founder of Supply this week, and we've been talking about Leaf and Supply and some of the razors that advertise outside of our sort of niche area, which Leaf does that, Supply does that. And in talking to the gentleman at Supply, he said 80% of the people who respond to surveys have never used a safety razor when they buy a Supply razor. 8 out of 10. That is pretty significant. So when you see a razor like Supply and 8 out of 10 people have never tried a safety razor and they're coming in and they see an ad or they've seen Shark Tank, that is an excellent and good thing for us. And that's why I have nothing but praise for these companies that are that have these gateway devices sort of between the strictly traditional and the somewhat new, because they're spending money they're in magazines, and we talked about it a little last week, but I thought that number, 80%, never having used a safety razor, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that companies like that are very valuable to us because they're the ones that are actually spreading the word about what we do. Because none of these. We were just talking about Paladin. Paladin's not spending $100,000 on marketing a year. They're just not, and that's fine. I don't expect them to. I don't expect PAA to. But those guys are helping grow our hobby in a very minuscule way. Just somebody happens to come across their stuff. Supply is a company, and possibly Leaf. I don't know. I don't know much about that goddamn
Leaf does
also. But they are the gateway drug into what we do, and we need more companies that are willing to invest marketing dollars into bring people into what we are.
And by the way, for those of you who have questions and comments, make sure you populate them, and once we get a little ways in, we'll start looking at them. So if you've already made them, thank you, and can keep them coming. We'll get to them. This week I had the opportunity to try the new the Duo barrel proof, which is for native male of BBS Live, and I was very happy because I could actually get the notes this time. I could get the bourbon, the wood, and for me that was very, very pleasant. And I think if they increase that scent on that a little bit, I think it's going to be much more of a crowd pleaser than it was last time, because last time I just couldn't get anything out of it, and I was disappointed for them. But this time I think they're on the right track, and I'm hoping that they raise that just a little bit. You tried it. What did you think?
I think it's a huge improvement over the last one. Many of the notes, because I'm just not that sophisticated, but most of the notes are very distinguishable. I was able to pick up the woods. I was able to pick up that booziness from it. I was able to pick up kind of like an alcohol type scent when you open up the sample. It just came together real nicely. It is a little bit light for me. Would I be outraged if it came in this strength? Not like I was with the first one. It'd be a little bit of a disappointment if it stayed at this one, which I know they are working to get it stronger. I was very happy with the scent, a little bit higher in scent strength, and I'm going to be thrilled to have it.
Yeah, that'll be good. I'm happy for those guys, of course. Now, get to some of the questions I got this week. Triple D. He made a comment. Essentially, he said, for some people, it seems like the hobby is more about collecting brushes and doing lathering rather than shaving. And if you remember, about a week ago or so, we were breaking Junior's chops about saying the dude of lathering. Remember, we were saying, are you going to shave or lather? And Triple D is just sort of indicating that for some people, he thinks they just like to lather soaps more than shaving. And honestly, from my perspective, if you just want to buy soaps and lather them for fun, I don't care. Doesn't, come on in and lather. Your thoughts?
I agree with you. For some of us, like myself, I can't shave every day, and I don't shave my head, so the alternating days isn't an option. Somebody like Nate is able to shave a lot more than me because he shaves his face and his head. Well, we like buying these products. We like experiencing the different scents. If you want to lather that soap, lather up, man. It's not something that I do, but I think it's cool for other people to do it because, we can't all shave every day, and we have a lot of products to get through.
Yeah, that's true. He also asked, he makes a very, very interesting point, which is, he said, straight razors are always about the edge. It's like, that's what people talk about, whether the razor is honed well. And most of us agree that almost regardless of the razor itself, if it has a good edge, it'll shave well. On the other hand, when it comes to DE razors, all the praise goes to the actual razor. And people talk a little bit about the blade, but they don't really talk too much about the edge when it comes to the blade on a DE razor, as we do with straights. Why do you think that is?
I actually disagree with that. I think people do talk about the edge, but without calling it the edge. A lot of people don't like this blade, that blade, this blade. It's not because the metal is cheap or the way it was manufactured is different. The way they treated that edge is the blade, and we just usually just refer to it as, oh, I don't like this blade because it's rough. I don't like this blade because it's too sharp. Those are all referring to the edge himself. We just don't say, oh, the DE edge is such and such. We don't do that part. But I actually think when we are talking about blades we like and dislike, we are referring to the edge on them.
We do, but I think, you know, when they mention it, how many times do we just go on and on about the razor, the blade gap, and the handle and the material? Like, we spend a lot more time talking about the razors and very, like, this much about the blade. And the razor
Well,
simply holds the blade in the position.
well, I think what happens, especially for those of us, say, like if we're on, like us, YouTubers that have been doing it for a long time, we don't spend much time testing out new blades.
Yeah.
We buy what we like. We know what we like. We know what we expect from certain blades. So it's kind of like there's no reason to start that conversation because it's usually one of our old faithfuls that don't fail us. You know,
Sure.
unless something went grossly wrong with that particular blade, we don't really have a reason to bring up a Gillette Silver Blue 70 times in the year because it just,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't think it really would make too much sense.
Makes sense. Um, Now is our segment every show where we do our Melly Mail check-in. And I have seen Melly Mail do 47 frag videos and 1.5 shave video. He did a shave video the other day, and I'm giving him a half because he just today, I think he put up a Ace of Spades straight razor. So I'm saying 1.5 shave videos to 47 frag videos. What do you think?
I think your numbers are accurate. Mel has completely fallen in love with fragrances, and I
Good
think
for
every
him.
week that passes, we are possibly 1 week closer to losing him.
Losing
But
him, yeah.
but he has just purchased his first straight razor, and he is super excited about it. So if he gets hooks with this, if he gets hooked on that straight razor shaving, there's no going back to anything else, man. He's gonna get sucked in for good. We gotta hope that it works.
Every time I'm like, don't go to the light mail. Don't go into the light mail. Come back to us, please, please. We love your mail. And he manages to get that one shave video in. So usually it keeps me from jumping off a bridge at least because the loss of mail is just, I don't know if I could endure it. You know, I don't know if I could. Francisco had a question and he asked, what do you think the influence of content creators of all forms on sales of soap, razors, and so on and so forth? And I'll start off by saying, I don't really know what the impact is. I know in years past, and I remember specifically when Pete first started, if I liked a soap and made a video, he would sell out. But at the time, keep in mind, he didn't have hundreds of soaps in stock. I think there is some influence. I don't know how much, but I would also say, I think the folks who are doing shave of the day photos, doing stories, I think everybody sort of contributes, and that is the reason why I think a lot of these artisans don't really have to market because, you know, people are doing it. They're not doing it deliberately, but every time we show something, that's essentially an advertisement. It's not a direct advertisement because we're not trying to, but they take advantage of that, and it's a great thing for them.
I think the content creators are have heavy influence when it comes to stuff selling out quickly because people know that the word is out because they know that a CDB, a Ruds used it, liked it. People are going to they want to make sure to get that first run of it before they sell out. So I think a lot of these artisans will probably still get similar numbers, but probably spread out over maybe a week, as opposed to when one of the bigger YouTubers says, "Hey, this is fucking great." People jump on it immediately.
Right, right. Brian Erskine wanted us to talk about shaving bowls and scuttles, and I know that's not a topic that excites you, but the scuttle,
Uh,
the main, and the reason for using a scuttle obviously is to keep your lather warm or cold, because you can also put cold water in there, and so that the advantage of the scuttle is you can just warm that lather if you wish. There's also a brush scuttle, which you can simply warm your brush. It's smaller, like PAA has one. It's not very expensive. And so you can just warm your brush in between passes. So scuttle, the advantage there is just to keep it warm. The bowl is just to lather in or throw things in or whatever you like. The scuttles usually I find to be a little bit more narrow inside than the traditional shaving bowl. So I tend to prefer just a shaving bowl. But really they serve the same purpose. The only difference is the scuttle has that ability to cool or warm the lather. You have anything to add, David? I know you're not a bowl guy.
I did enjoy, well, Rocio broke my scuttle. So I did have a scuttle, and I did actually enjoy bowl
Uh-huh.
lathering at times with that because when the weather's cold, a
Yeah.
nice hot lather just felt very satisfying. So I actually may invest in a scuttle eventually again, uh, just for the simple fact that again, when it is cold, it's kind of nice to change the pace and do it. Bowl lathering, just plain bowl, really doesn't do much for me, but
Hmm.
I like the advantages of a scuttle for a little bit of a change of pace.
Right. One of the things I wanted to mention, because I've been seeing this, and this has been going on for months. I noticed today there was a viewer who made a comment, and there was no profanity in it. There was no problem whatsoever. I'll get an email, and there's a comment in it, and it was just like, "How did you like the timeless?" And it's gone. Like it's not in spam. It's nowhere to be found. It's just somewhere in the ether. And the reason I'm mentioning this is if you're watching people's YouTube videos and you make a comment and you never get a response, that comment may not be there because sometimes YouTube just blows it out. And we check the spam area, we check to see if it's being held. So I get a lot of emails where there's actually no comment, but someone actually made a comment. So I just wanted to let people know that I try to respond to every single comment. I take the time to do it. It's important to me, even if it's a short response. I want you to know I appreciate you. But I'm not deleting your comments. Sometimes they're just gone. They never actually appear. And so I don't know why that is, but it happens intermittently. Like I'll have it happen once or twice a day, and then sometimes I won't see it for several days. And I just wanted to let people know. Have you noticed that, or do you get email notifications?
I do not get any wait, do I? I get some. I do not get email notification for all my comments. Why that is, I don't know. I do try to answer back any that I do, whichever one I am made aware of, I do try to answer back. But no, for whatever reason, I do not get email notification for every comment.
Sometimes I'll notice I have the email, but there's no comment. And so I just wanted to let people know. Daryl wants to know, he asked a question. Pretty much all the badger hair, as far as we know, comes from China. He wants to know what is it that makes some of these knots so doggone expensive when we know the hair generally coming from China, none of it is particularly expensive. And I know I have some basic answers, which are some brush makers do it by hand, they sort the hair, they condition the hair, and so on and so forth. But I actually don't know what makes, we saw like Declaration had a $405 brush tonight with a, what looked to me to be a very basic handle design. And I understand that it's a hand tied knot and so on and so forth, but I don't know what makes that hand tied knot different from another knot that's put together by hand. Other than I have heard that he individually takes those hairs and sorts them and makes sure they're all of a certain quality, and that certainly would be a time-consuming effort. But I can't actually explain what would make that brush $405.
What makes those brushes that price is us. We buy them.
Oh,
Whether pretty much whether we people are willing to spend a lot of money if they have it, and even if they find that it's only marginally better.
mm-hmm.
And it's just really because they can. So because people are willing to spend money on that difference, they'll charge it.
Right.
And if again, it's the almighty dollar is going to control that. If the community stops spending top dollar on these things, they'll stop. They'll either one stop making them, or two make them more affordable. But
I
what is
do
it?
think
We like the abuse, and we'll take whatever they give us.
I do think the ones where there aren't a high supply, in other words, brush makers that are churning out a bunch of brushes and doing the work a lot, they don't command as much as the ones who only make a few. So that exclusivity really drives the price up. And quite frankly, I don't blame anybody if they're making a good living and they're saying, hey, this brush is what I'm charging, and people buy it. I certainly do not blame them. I say, good on you. You found a good way to earn a decent living. And so I never, am I going to buy them? No. But if other people do, it doesn't bother me one bit. I say, hey, good on you. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, yeah, I have no problem with people buying them. Good for you. I just the marginal improvement in quality is just not worth it for me. I'm not going to do it. But I think it's cool when people have it, man. Treat yourself. Whatever you need
Hmm.
to do that makes your day a little bit brighter, go for it, man. That's who the hell am
Yeah,
I to judge people for wanting to feel good about something? Hey, you got the money, buy it. It's just not for me.
right. Do you think that in a lot of these cases, just that exclusive nature of it is what really drives that price up? That there's not that many, and once they start getting at a certain level, they can just creep up and up and up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Once scarcity, uh, it does it for people. People want to be part of the part of the elite. People want to have that exclusive stuff. That's why people pay big money for VIP experiences at clubs, at baseball
True.
games, at anything. People like being part of that elite experience, and you know that does it.
Yeah, I certainly don't blame buyers nor the people who sell them personally. Um, all right, next, Sneaky Pete, and I gotta mention. So I've used the shaving butter a couple of times now, and this is a really good vegan um, formula. It's certainly among the best that I've ever tried, and I think, since it's relatively new, it's automatically it's pretty wild that it's a front runner in my opinion in terms of vegan. It is very, very good and makes a very creamy lather. Have you tried it? And if so, what are your thoughts?
Yes, man, I really enjoy it. I don't know how Peter does it. He hasn't been a soap maker for very long, but the foundation that he built, he's able just to expand upon it and just make great product after great product after great product, man. And that is a very good vegan base. I'm not thrilled by the size of the jar, which kind of lessens my experience. That's
I
why
like
I
the
did a
jar.
video on it. Oh, it's an attractive jar. It's an attractive jar, but since I load from the actual tub itself, it's a little inconvenient. Not horribly, but slightly. I even said in my video that I would like to see him uh, introduce the vegan line in some of his regular style soaps and the regular tubs.
Go.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Did you happen now? We all know that Pete dropped a bunch of stuff the other night on Wednesday. Did you pick anything up, or are you just waiting a little bit, hanging back?
I picked up the stallion soap, the
Yeah,
mimosa and melon, or melon
yeah,
and
me too.
mimosa. That's the only thing out of the bunch that I picked up. I'm slowing down on my soap purchases,
Hmm.
but Anthony's being a longtime friend of mine, so I had to make sure that one gets picked up.
Yeah, I think I picked up that one and the Vanilla Vendetta and Khalifa, which I'm not sure. I am going into it with the expectation that I very well may not like Khalifa. It's probably not my style of scent, but I said, what the heck? Let's give it a try and see. Because every time you turn around, there's people just jumping up and down for Khalifa. I got to have it in a new base. I got to have it. And so I thought, let's see what it is. And, I may not like it. No big deal. But I did pick up several things myself, and I'm looking forward to it.
I still,
There's
to
been
this day, I have not tried it. I still have not tried Khalifa.
anything you've been really enjoying here recently, product wise?
Oh man, the in terms of software or hardware.
Either one.
The Ace of Spades razors, I've been lucky enough to be able to hone a few. I just got another one from Nate to be able to hone his, and
Who?
they're Nate.
Oh, Low Sense Skeleton. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, no sense, Skeletor. Um, and dude, they're just such a satisfying razor. They take great edges. They sit well on the stones. They're just a lot of fun to hone.
Oh, Daniel, I do a video on everything, whether I like it or not. So I show it all. I don't cherry pick. So, what are you going to do? So for me, I got to say, these two razors here, um, I couldn't be more happy with. One is the carbon, and typically I don't like long handles. But what I've found, because I also picked up the timeless crown handle, is these handles that are tapered, the long handles don't bother me, but when they're chunky or the entire thing is, say, this size, they do. And both of these razors are just fantastic. This one is the timeless titanium. This is their crown handle. And you'll notice that tapering there, they're similar. And I have found that I don't mind a long handle if it has some tapering, because it doesn't feel chunky, it doesn't feel cumbersome. But both of these are fantastic razors. I got this one and is like refurbished, and I am using what I believe to be Lord Shavings hand-me-down plate, because it had a little pin mark in it. And so now I'm having all these dark thoughts. The dark side of the force comes to me every time I'm using this razor, because Shady has had it on maybe his face, maybe his head, and I don't want to know where else he might have had it. But, I did enjoy using it, and so it's definitely a keeper for me. This one too. Your thoughts on that?
Which one is your favorite? I want to know what's the top dollar. If you could only use one the rest of your life, which one is it?
I don't know, because I've only used a carbon 3 times ever, including Nate's. They both feel really nimble. I like them very much both. I'm going to have to use them more before I can decide. This one's a little bit lighter because it's titanium. So maybe if I had this one in titanium, it would be a more fair match. But they're both very nimble and both very good. So it's really hard to say. They're both excellent.
That carbon is the lightest full stainless steel razor I've ever felt. It is incredibly light for a full stainless steel razor.
Yeah. Now, one thing I want to let people know as we try to, do public service is PAA in the next couple of months. If you're a PAA fan, it's going to be a good time for you, because there's lots of releases coming. So keep an eye on PAA's website. There's going to be some special releases. There's going to be his seasonal releases, like you'll see Irish Springs, you'll see two, you'll see, what's the other one? Probably Twee. A lot of releases coming out from PAA, and also some really special ones over the next couple of months. So keep your eye there if you're a PAA fan, because people miss a lot of those seasonals because they don't get it. So I'm here to tell you, if you want Irish Springs, get it when it comes out. If you want Et2, get it when it comes out. If you want Twee, get it right away, because he only keeps them a few weeks to a month, maybe. So jump on those if you want them when the time comes. So sometimes I miss them myself, because I'm like, I'll get it later. And then I'm like, oh, so you know how that is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Appreciation segment. Who are you appreciating? Who would you like to appreciate?
Who do I want to appreciate, man?
You should always have someone in mind to appreciate.
Well, dude, because actually it's an overwhelming amount of people. For those of you guys that watch BBS Live or watch some of my videos, you've heard that one of my family dogs passed away.
Yeah.
And real hard time. I really struggled with it. And there was just a ridiculous amount of people that contacted me, check how I was doing, shows that they understand, man. So it was just so many of them. To the immediate guys that I talk to every day, like yourself, Magic Mike, Nate, Junior, Shady, everybody, John. Those.
What about Jared there? He's saying, "Give me that love."
Oh, Jared. I love me some Jared. Jared's cool as hell, man. But it was just, and then beyond those guys, so many comments on my YouTube videos, so many DMs, so many phone calls. Oh man, it was just overwhelming how everybody just wanted to just make sure I'm good, and that's why it's very, very hard to just pick a couple, dude, because everybody showed love. Everybody was fantastic, man. And I just appreciate the community, man. I love you guys.
Yeah. I would say the same thing with respect to the community. But there's one guy that's been standing out the last couple of weeks. His energy and positivity has been all-time high. Like every video, smile on the face, laughing. I'm wondering if anybody can guess who I'm about to name. If you can, put it below. His enthusiasm, he's using products he typically doesn't use. It is through the roof right now. And I'm like, when I'm watching these videos, he is just really, really enjoying himself. Anybody know who I'm talking about? I'm just curious in the comments. I haven't seen anybody nail it yet. Oh, they're all still on the daddy lab there.
Hey,
Stallion, there you go.
I love my people. I love my peoples, man.
The Stallion, if you've watched his videos recently, they have just been super positive, super happy. Now, he made the Naked Armor video, maybe one other one where he wasn't happy, but his videos have been very upbeat, happy. He's using DE razors. I mean, it's as happy as I've seen him, and he's enjoying himself more than I've seen him enjoying himself in a long time. So for me, that's really, really a great thing to see him have that energy and passion back. Your thoughts on that, if you have any?
Oh, dude, it has been excited. I've actually had a couple phone conversations with Stallion recently. You know, he's not a big DE guy, but he's dabbling in it now. So he was asking some questions, and just to see his excitement from it, it's nice, man. You know, I have a real connection with somebody like Anthony, somebody that's been here since I started. So I have I have an admiration for him. I look up to him when it comes to shaving, and to see him kind of opening up, trying new things, and just enjoying everything that the community has to offer, man. I fucking love it. I love seeing that dude in a good mood.
Yeah, it's been really nice to watch, and I've really liked it. So we do have an update on Gentleman's Nod. They did send a replacement. It just showed up the other day. Now, I never really got much communication back after I sent them the samples, but they did put this in the mail, and so I will try it. It was a brand new tub of Signature Royale, which I must admit, when you smell it, it's all world. Like it is such a beautiful scent that you cannot, or I guess anybody can complain about anything, but the scent on this is just phenomenal. Like it's every time I smell it, I'm just like, ah. Now our exchange, go ahead.
I'd have to insist that if your garbage lathering style can't make this one work, that you send that tub to me, baby, because it'll find a home out here.
Yeah, I know you'll like it. The key for me on this one is just to use more product. I already know, and I will do that. But I must say, the scent on it, I'm just, every time I smell it, and I can't stop smelling it once I have it near me. It's just a wonderful scent, and so I really, really like it. And by the way, I would venture to guess that if you like the regular Signature scent, you probably like this one, the Royale, and probably the other one as well, because they're all in the same sort of family, and they're all beautiful scents, in my opinion. All right, what were we going with next? Oh, okay. So in this week's Postal Woes, I don't think DK's here, but you know, just nothing got lost yet. But I sent Scott Leslie, who works at the post office, a package on the 14th of February, Valentine's Day, and he still hasn't gotten it. And what is today? 26th. You know, and he just lives. He sent me a package on the 16th, and I haven't gotten it. So I said the other day, I thought the postal thing was sort of turning around, but there's still stuff being hung up in places. So the reason I'm bringing this up is try not to jump on the vendor. If you see the package has been put in the hands of the post office, like, now I'm not talking about sometimes when you'll get a notification, shipping notification, because anybody can print shipping and it'll send that notification. I mean, when it's in the hands of the post office, the vendor has no control. So, you know, take it easy on the vendors and or people who might be sending you things, because things are still getting hung up big time.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I sent 2 packages on the same day. One of them was to Minnesota, and one of them was to Israel. The package to Israel got there 2 days before the package to Minnesota, so it's definitely a problem. And Chris, I apologize. Somebody's knocking and nobody's answering the door, so I do got to go check that out. I'll be right back.
You can go roll. We'll look at some of the questions here. By the way, I'll go ahead and make an announcement. For those of you who have been wanting Lancaster towels, Lancaster hat, Lancaster stuff, tomorrow, which is the 27th of February, or if you're watching this Real Talk on my YouTube channel on Saturday, which is tomorrow, 27th of February, 3 p.m., there will be a drop. And he's told us he's going to have all sorts of towels. He's got some hats. He's got some bowls. He will not have any brushes, but he will have, I think he said the brushes were going to be released at another time, but he will have the towels. Now, one thing, for you folks who are outside the United States, except for Canada, I think he is shipping to Canada. He did make an announcement where he's not shipping internationally, and you know, I'm sorry to you folks, and I hope that he will get that fixed for you, because you know, these towels are great. I'll go ahead and grab mine here. They really are great. If you haven't gotten one and you want to get one, tomorrow is the day. From the first time I used this, I really loved it. I made a video on it. Really, really nice. And I saw it on DK's channel the first time I ever saw it. It's a beautiful towel. And he's got some beautiful brushes too. David bought a, I think it was jade colored brush that's just absolutely beautiful. So I look forward to seeing what sort of brushes that he brings out when he does that release. So don't forget tomorrow, which will be 27 February, 3 p.m. if you're interested in the Lancaster drop. And let's get into some comments here. And the first one from Marion the Barbarian is Stone. Good comment, Marion. What is the rough price for the towels? When I bought them, I think it was like $21 initially to my door, including shipping. I don't know what they cost now, but I think the last ones I bought were like $21 to $22 to the door. So not too bad. Marion says he thinks David's brush is sea glass green. Okay, cool. That really is an excellent brush. The towels used to be like $15.95 or $16.95, somewhere thereabouts. I don't know what they are now, but they were like $21 to my door, I'm pretty sure, in the past, but we'll see. Upfo says, thanks to everybody that makes this wet shaving movement great. Upfo style. Thank you, Upfo. We appreciate that, of course. Let's see. Next. And by the way, if you have any comments, blow them in there. Scott says, I routinely watch shavers in foreign countries speaking foreign languages. I'm sure I'm not the only one. A couple, and then the comment cuts off. So I don't know what the rest of that comment was, Scott. I apologize. Barbus, the Barbus guy. Yeah, don't forget, they do Barbus as well. Okay, did you get it all sorted out, David?
Yeah, dude, I swear, people fucking...
We're doing some of the questions here now, so let's see what's going on here. David Bradner, good vibes, truth. I hope you're feeling a little bit better each day, bro. Always a pleasure. Thank you, David.
I appreciate that, Dave. Man, I really do.
Let's see what else we got here.
Oh, that's interesting. They changed how the questions come out.
Does negativity ever equal positive public sentiment? I don't know. No. Sometimes. I mean, sometimes for example, if I see someone getting beat up on, I'm usually inclined to want to try their product, whether they were right or wrong, because I am one of those people that just do not like to see people getting beat up on. That's just me. David?
I guess it depends on whose side of the matter you're on when people bring on the negativity. Kind of like that whole Paladin Dark Sanctum thing. If you're team Paladin and you've seen the people supporting Paladin, then I guess that's positivity for you. But generally speaking, it's not very good to have negativity anywhere around you.
Yeah, that's true. And Jared says, thanks for the love, Daddy. CDB, try harder next time. I'm the one that brought it. I'm the one that brought it. He wouldn't have even seen it if not for me, Jared. Come on. Give me a break.
Yeah, CDB did have the assist there.
Brandon Shea says, took 10 days to get a soap from Myrtle Beach to Maine. Yeah, that's a pretty long time. But, once it's in the hands of the post office, there's no telling. It's in God's hands at that point. Let's see what else we have here. All right. Sud Slinger, favorite strap materials. For me, I kind of like that Horween leather or whatever it's called. I can't think of it. Horsehide.
That's real nice. Anything with the heavier draw, the better for me. I don't own a bunch of straps. Yeah, but I do prefer a heavier draw.
Okay. Let's see. Any more praise or thoughts about the Wild West sweet spot knot? I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. Maybe David is.
It's a really good knot, man. It's not as dense as what everybody seems to be wanting nowadays, but it is just an absolute luxurious filling knot. It's very plush. It just has some real pillowiness to it. It's a nice little change. I like the higher density knots as well, but it's a nice change of pace knot if you're used to the real dense stuff.
This is true. As a soon-to-be straight razor shaver, any advice for the Pensacola boy? And that comes from Mel, of course. And that is Northwest Florida, if you did not know, of course. Pensacola.
What advice do you have, Chris?
One thing is do not rush. Do not rush. Do not rush. Just take it easy. Start slow. I think the biggest hurdle for me early on, the number one piece of advice I can give anybody all the time is don't come in too steep with the razor. When you're putting it to your face, for me, that's always the time to get a little line or a cut. Once it's on your face, if it's at the correct angle and you're just, it's not that big of a deal, but keeping it going easy when you're putting it to your face, for me, would be the number one piece of advice. You go ahead, Dave.
Ask a bunch of questions, man. Ask specific questions to people that you trust in straight razor shaving. They'll really give you a lot of nice little tips and tricks and ways to make things as convenient for you. Because, especially if you're going to have that plan to try to learn how to use your offhand, making the passes as convenient and simple as possible is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, that's good counsel for sure. Let's see. How was the live training today? I missed most of it. It was good, I would say.
I'm a little ashamed of myself. I wasn't able to fit in a live, so it doesn't really feel complete. I really feel like I didn't contribute. I'm ashamed of myself. But, hopefully, next Friday is another day, and hopefully I'll get back on track.
Boy, these names. Woo, FCR, I can't say it. Shaving butter or CK6, and I'm going to say shaving butter and CK6. David.
I love me CK6. For me, it's the best vegan formula out there. The shaving butter is really damn good, though, so it may not be far behind.
So to me, what I would say that the difference that I would notice is, for me, the CK6, I think would be easier to build a little more volume, probably, if you wanted to. It's one of those soaps that can build volume very, very quickly and easily. The butter is a little more what they call low structure. It tends to yield a little more creamy, low structure. So if you're looking for volume and you're basing it on using a certain amount of product, CK6 will probably give you more volume. If you're looking for super dense, maybe the butter, but both are very, very good and easy to recommend, in my opinion. Let's see what we have here. Favorite barbershop scented shaving soap? Oh, that's too hard, honestly. I have at least 25, if not 30 barbershop soaps, and I love them all. I mean, I can't name the best. Can you?
My favorite is going to be either Ghost Town Barber or the Wanderer.
That's a good one.
Ghost Town Barber is from Chiseled Face, and the Wanderer from Zingari Man. They smell identical, so I'm sure there's easy access to that scent. But those two, that style, that particular one, my favorite barbershop.
If you like the Wanderer, you also find that something like Maggard London Barbershop, Shannon's Barbershop, is going to be very similar. There's a lot that have that same fragrance. Cad is one that I don't think we can forget. And something like American Blend also, very good. All right, we just did that one, so let's move on to the next. And if you have any questions, now is the time. Let's see. Who's your favorite wet shaving YouTuber other than yourself, and why? That's a good question. And I don't know the answer to that because it's like choosing between your children. There's so many good friends that I have that if you picked one, it would be like the conversation earlier where people were complaining about being mentioned. Like if you say it's Geo Fatboy, for example, then everybody, it should have been me. I'm your friend, So I am not getting into that one because I learned my lesson from mentioning new people. So I'm not going down that road. Any thoughts on that, David?
Shave the Man, Concazanzitas. I miss his videos so much.
Yeah.
He has not done any shave videos in quite some time. But the production value, any voiceover work or actually talk that he's doing, his voice is just soothing and just dope. Concazanzitas was an excellent YouTuber. He's busy doing other things, running his the Straight Whisker business. But I love his YouTube videos.
His production is second to none. He's got the best production that I've ever seen. His attention to detail, his dress, he just did a live video that I saw yesterday on Facebook. I watched a little bit of it. Still decked out, excellent in every regard. He is just one of those guys that is, in production, no one can touch him really. And there's some people that do a lot of great production, but he's the best I've ever seen in the hobby at production and quality, as far as that goes. Favorite vintage DE or single edge razor? That's a very good question. That comes to us from the Razor Company. Whew. That's tough. Vintage or single edge razor. With vintage, I'm going to go with just a very easy choice and say Fat Boy, just because I really like that razor. Is it the best shaver out of all the vintage razors? I don't know, but I just like it. I don't know why, I just do. You have one, David?
Yeah, for me, it is a toss-up between, and I haven't tried a whole bunch of vintage razors. I probably have tried maybe about 15-ish different vintage razors. My favorite, it has to go either between the Fat Boy, because I think it's a fantastic shaver, or the Red Tip. Super speed.
Yeah, Red Tip's a good one too. I agree with you on that for sure. So thank you, Razor Company, for that question. Daily Carry Solutions, do you feel shaving channels are catering more for current enthusiasts or new shavers? Both, I think. But I think what happened was years ago, there used to be a lot of instructional videos. And there were so many that most of us sort of shied away from doing them, because you can watch Geo Fat Boy, you can watch Mantic, and those videos from 10 years ago are 100% valid even today. So when Geo Fat Boy was teaching you how to learn to shave, it's really difficult to top that or add anything to it, because he had it right then, it's still right now. So I think people are more catering to products and just, contemporary issues right now. Your
I
thoughts?
actually think the YouTubers actually are catering to hobbyists.
Yeah,
Most of
yeah.
us are not doing uh, tutorial videos so much anymore, because there's a lot of great content for that.
Yeah,
I'll add like Lynn Abrams. Lynn Abrams has a
yeah.
great tutorial on straight razor shaving. For the most part, the YouTubers are catering to other shave nerds that just love the hobby, love to have a
Hmm.
bunch of shit, love to try new stuff.
Right. I would agree with that. And I think it's important sometimes to think about, the new folks. In fact, I saw a video, I think today I was watching on the Razor Company's YouTube channel. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the Razor Company YouTube channel, check it out. I think Jack made a video today, and he was talking about Mitchell's Wolf Fat and those type of soaps, and that hard soaps, and how you might get a little more value out of that. And I think those are things that new people don't know, so it might be important to touch on from time to time. I think we could do more to help new folks. Art asks, is that Mike Martinez the meat cleaver blade?
Yes, the two bigger blades that I am shaving with are Mike Martinez razors.
Nice looking blades there for sure.
You can get a similar style from Osiris Blades, Alfonso Terrones. He does offer a similar style of blade like that.
Banaka asks, what is your favorite color, David?
I'm a blue guy. I love blue.
I don't have a number one favorite, but for me, it's blue, black, and gray. Those are my favorite colors. Blue might be my favorite, but black and gray aren't far behind it. Let's see.
I'm also
Ronald
very
is,
favorable to purple. I'm pretty favorable to purple as
I don't
well.
like purple at all. But it's good that you do. Ronald asks, I think at the end of the day, people need to remember it's just shaving, relax, and enjoy. Yep, you're right, Ronald. But don't get David started on that just shaving thing, because you will trigger him, because he will give a very impassioned speech about it's much more than shaving. Thirsty Badger, wood, resin, or hybrid handles? For me, the most durable are the resin, I think. But I love all of those. I don't really have a preference. The only problem with wood and things, you really have to be careful and make sure that you don't get water up in the handle some kind of way. We have seen wooden handles split and have issues, so you do have to be careful with that. Do you have a preference, David?
Oh man, for me, a good hybrid brush turned, it is just, there's nothing prettier than that. I love a good hybrid handle.
Yeah, I like the way they look for sure. Let's see. You have one soap. This is from, is that from Sweet Baby Ray there, I think? You have one soap to use for the rest of your life. What are you grabbing? That's tough. I don't know if I can answer that. You go, David, because I don't know.
For me, it would be probably um, Spartacus from Ariana and Evans. My wife goes nuts for the Creed Aventus scent. Ariana and Evans is, one of the top of the food chain artisan soaps. So yeah, I would probably go, if I had to pick one to use forever, Spartacus from Ariana and Evans.
I'm going to pick an odd one that a lot of people wouldn't pick. And it would be The Beach by PAA, because every time I smell that, it reminds me of 70s suntan lotion. And of course, I was a kid at that time and just fun on the beach. And it just sort of takes me to a simpler time where you didn't have any responsibility and you're just having fun. The 70s for me was that. And so I would probably go with that just because it really, it just takes me back. Take Care Man asked, I got $200, Vector or one of the nicer DEs? I will tell you, the Vector is a fantastic razor. It is fun to use, and it's unlike anything that you've ever used, likely. It is so nimble. It's one of my favorite razors to use, and it would definitely, if I had a top 5, it would be in it of all time. It's just fun to use. So I don't know whether you choose it over a DE. They just feel dramatically different. The Vector is, if you have a bunch of DEs, the Vector is going to give you a much different experience. So I hope that helps. David?
I've never used the Vector, but I love the carbon, so I'd have to push, say that, put in that extra 50 and get that carbon. But I have not used the Vector.
Yeah, it's fun to use because it's so nimble. Should we stop buying badger knots in order not to contribute to animal cruelty? My perspective on that is use whatever you're happy with. I don't know the details of how badger hair is obtained, and honestly, it's something I'm not terribly interested in. We have seen videos at times that make it look bad, but I've also seen, people say that those were faked and so on. So the badger in certain places is a sort of a nuisance animal, we hear. So for me, I just say buy whatever you're happy with. And if you find badger hair collection to be problematic, don't buy it. But if you don't, then buy it and enjoy it. For me, it's just whatever you enjoy. David.
I like badger brushes. I'm not familiar with the practices when it comes to harvesting them. I would like to pretend like I would care, but I frankly I just don't.
Well, there is that. So we saw that Junior finally made it, and so I'm very happy. There was a time where Junior made videos, and I enjoyed those videos. And sadly, he's not doing it anymore, and he got burnt out. And I watch his videos sometimes over and just reflect back on how great they were. Do you ever do that, David?
Absolutely, yeah, he has some real hits. Um, it's a shame. It is a shame that he is gone forever.
It's hurtful. Yeah, it bummed me out. But the good thing is we formed a tighter bond with Shady. So at some point, maybe we bring him into the fray to replace Junior's videos. He's got some good humor going.
Oh yeah, Shady is hilarious. I'll take a Shady YouTube channel any day.
Jared said the 1-minute reviews are exhausting. And honestly, I bet those 1 or 2 minute videos were the most difficult he ever did and took the most effort because of the editing, the finding the information, I think they probably were some of his most difficult videos. Shady is hilarious. Yes, he certainly is. I miss clown fruit videos. Yeah, he's due for a clown fruit video. He hasn't said anything about clown fruit for a week or two, so he's due, I would say. Anybody else have any questions before we wrap the evening up? So, David, where can they find you?
Well, if you guys are interested in following what I'm up to, you can check me out on Instagram under SoSharpDavid. I am also on YouTube under SoSharpDavid as well.
Oh, we got some questions. Okay, go ahead. So Kim asked if I still have my dogs. No, sadly I do not. I wish I did, but sadly I do not. And Junior has a comment. Stone, excellent job, Junior. We like your passion.
Brilliant.
Let's see. Daily Carry Solutions. Any new products for spring that you're looking forward to? Yes. Again, keep your eye on PAA. There's some really good stuff coming out. Again, I mentioned again, keep your eye on Lancaster tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern for those drops. Keep your eye on Pete, Shaving Shop Club Shop. He had the big drop Wednesday, but more stuff is coming. More stuff is coming. So keep your eyes on those companies. And I'm sure other people are dropping things. Keep your eye out for the Duo Barrel Proof. Looking forward to that one as well. Let's see if we have anything else here. Yes, we do. Thirsty Badger says, Seth and the Shade. That would be a beauty YouTube channel. No. Yeah, I think it would. I think it would. Let's see what we got here. Brandon says, I love doing YouTube videos and thank all of you pioneers that made this possible. Thank you, Brandon. We certainly appreciate that. I'm glad that you're enjoying them. That is really the main thing. You are on the right track there. Let's see if anybody else has anything else. So, again, they can find you on the YouTubes. They can find you on Instagram here. They can find you on Twitter maybe even.
Yes, I am on Twitter. Not very active on there. I mostly use it to fight about sports.
Well, for me, IAMCDB.com is the YouTube channel that will take it there. You can go to the old channel on iLather.com, back when I had hair and looked, I think, older than I do now. Or here on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook page. All that information is below on my videos. And we just got another question, so let's see what we have there. Would you get a brand new Ralph Aust or a vintage Dovo? A Ralph Aust for me, personally, very good blade. I think Ralph Aust.
Ralph Aust.
Okay, unanimous on that one. So, most importantly this evening, we want to thank all of you who have hung around. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you. I know asking an hour or so of your time is asking a lot. We don't ask you for 3 to 5 hours like Nate and Mel. We only ask for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. So, thank you for giving us that time. And don't forget, Nate and Mel, next Thursday. We don't know what Central Time is, but it's somewhere in the evening. Nate and Mel, BBS Live.
I think it's 6 o'clock.
What's that?
I think it is 6 o'clock, and yes, I have used Chasing the Dragon, and it's fantastic.
Anyway, don't forget Nate and Mel, our partners there on next Thursday night. Great guys. Thanks, everybody. We really appreciate you. Until next time, God bless.